Good evening, everyone. Welcome to NLL Live. I'm your host, Mark Powers. Hard to believe that we're already at week 16, but I know my co-host has already been excited to preview the action as we come down the stretch. The man himself, Connor Wilson. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing well, can't complain. Looking forward to a little final push in the regular season, and then we're talking playoffs, baby. Who isn't excited for that? Come on now.
That's right. That's right. We'll get into that a little later. Go through some of the scenarios, what each team has got to do in order to make it to the big show, and see if they'll get into the famous mini game. Our guest tonight is an absolute stud in this league. He was part of a major blockbuster transaction last offseason. He's a former number one overall pick, rookie of the year. The guy's coming off 3 straight 30-goal seasons. We got Ryan Benesch of the Buffalo Bandits. How you doing tonight, Ryan?
Not too bad, guys. How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. And where are you coming to us from tonight?
Live from my bedroom right here in Kitchener, Ontario.
Nice. Lovely Kitchener, Ontario. It seems like the Bandits are developing a big Kitchener connection. Do you guys live close to each other? You guys see each other in town?
Actually, yeah, we do. I live close to Dane and Aaron Wilson. Glenn Bryan actually lives a couple streets down. We all work out at the same gym pretty much every day during the week when we're not at practice or games. So, yeah, we see each other a lot.
Wow. That's awesome. I certainly get GM Steve Dietrich's plan. That's a good move to keep you guys all together. There's something to that. So I don't know if you've seen the show before, but we like to start with what we call a little bit of an icebreaker, a lightning round, so we can get to know you a little bit, talk about some off-the-field stuff. So let's get right into it. So Ryan, I knew we were talking before the show that you have had some field lacrosse experience. Why don't you tell me what your most memorable field lacrosse moment's been, and then conversely, what your most memorable box lacrosse moment has been so far? It doesn't have to be in the pros. It could be, playing in your backyard or summer ball or something.
Okay. Field lacrosse moment would probably be when I was in, I believe it was Bantam, major Bantam, or it could have been minor midget. Kitchener we started up a field lacrosse program. Nobody wanted to play goalie, so I ended up strapping up the pads and playing goalie for the season. We ended up winning our first ever provincial gold medals for field lacrosse that year, and it was pretty special because a lot of guys that I play with now played on that team, so that was a ton of fun. My most memorable moment box lacrosse would probably be I'm gonna say just my draft day. When I got drafted, we were in New York, and I got to see Madison Square and be there with all the guys and just share that experience with them. It was such an unbelievable weekend, and it's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, actually, following up on that, what was it like being drafted? I know you said you were in New York, but you were drafted by the now defunct San Jose Stealth, right? Well, what was that like to know that you would be going out to SoCal pretty quick?
It was pretty exciting. I mean, going out to California is like, how could you not want to go there? It's sunny, it's beautiful out there. It's a pretty funny story. I wasn't supposed to get drafted first overall. Kyle Sorensen was actually supposed to be taken number 1, but he unfortunately couldn't be at the draft. So Doug Locker came to me and said that they were going to take me number 1 just almost on a default because Sorry couldn't be there. So
That's awesome. Another guy that we've had on the show before. I hope you don't take too much offense to that. I'm sure you enjoyed lucking into the number 1 spot, right?
I said sorry to Kyle. He should have been number 1, but I was happy when they called my name first.
Yeah, no question. Well, I'm sure it wasn't all bad. You quickly got shipped from San Jose to back to the legendary Toronto Rock in exchange for in the Colin Doyle deal. So not like you had a ton of time to get acquainted out there.
Yeah.
So let's transition to a couple of the fun off the field questions that everybody likes to know about. What's your favorite movie and your favorite TV show? I'm sure you get a chance to watch a lot of stuff being on the road all the time.
My favorite movie is probably gonna make people wonder about me, but my favorite movie is Night at the Roxbury. Believe it or not. When I was a kid, we grew up playing hockey, travel hockey, and we had a tournament in Sudbury, which is about 6 or 7 hours away. Me and one of my best friends stayed up all day, all night. We watched that movie about 6, 7 times right in a row. And it's just one of those movies that it's funny every time you watch it. So that would be my favorite movie. Favorite TV show right now, I'm gonna have to say, is How I Met Your Mother. I'm on a huge How I Met Your Mother kick. I've been watching on Netflix every day.
Okay.
Just a good show to me. I don't know. People don't like it, but I like it.
It's probably because all the characters went to Wesleyan University. That's my guess.
Some about that, right?
Something about that
Is it
school.
me?
I don't know. It could be.
Is it me? Is it him? Is it me? You? What season are you up to? Should we not give away the ending?
I'm season 8, middle way through season 8, but I did watch the finale, so I know what happened.
Oh, okay.
Kind of ruined it.
Okay. No. You made a good decision there. No problem at all. Here's an interesting one. Obviously, you're a pro lacrosse player. What's your favorite non-pro? What's your favorite pro sports team other than lacrosse, other than the Bandits?
Pro sports team. I'm gonna have to say the Toronto Maple Leafs. Obviously, growing up, I watched the Leafs play, and I've been fortunate enough to go to a few games in my lifetime. One of my best friends actually used to play for the Maple Leafs. He's now with the Avalanche. So, I'm just gonna say the Toronto Maple Leafs. And why I like them, I don't know. They let us down here, but playoff time will come, and the cup will come. And when it comes, man, look out, Toronto. It's gonna be a riot.
Right.
What do you think about that? I mean, sports teams consistently rioting after winning things.
I don't. You know what? I don't get it. It's cool that you want to show support for your fan or for your team, but to go out and destroy your city is kind of it's kind of a dumb thing to do. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, do me a favor. It looks like you're about to jump through the screen at me. Can I have you sit back like 6 inches? Yeah, there you go, bud. Nice. Perfect. And my producer always gets in my ear about that too. I have a tendency to look like I want to bounce right in there. So thanks, bud. Appreciate it, man. So I'm sure you got the nickname Benny, but other than that, any nicknames people need to know about?
Yeah, there's a couple.
Don't get fired.
When I was younger, I used to be called Speedy Gonzalez because I was a lot faster than my friends. And then as I grew older, I acquired the nickname Bowling Ball, just because I got older, I got smaller, I got a little bit heavier, so I was rounded out like a bowling ball. So,
That's actually my nickname as a baby.
Yeah, well,
that's because my head looked like a bowling ball.
I thank Andrew Watt for that one. He's the mastermind behind the bowling ball.
It's a good one.
Okay, nice. If you could have lunch with any one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
A good question. That is a very, very hard question to answer. There's so many people that you would want to have lunch with. Man.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a second to think.
That's a good question. There's too many people to choose from.
It's okay. Don't worry about it, man. Have you had any memorable non-lacrosse jobs?
Non-lacrosse jobs? Yeah, I worked at Sport Check. It's a pretty big sports store here. I've been a finishing carpenter for 8 years now. Just recently took a job at the city of Kitchener, so I'll be starting there. Actually working with Andrew Watt, believe it or not.
I'm noticing a theme.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Me and Waddy, we've worked at a golf course together before, and now we're gonna be working at the city together. So
You got traded together. I mean, what's
uh,
the deal?
it's weird. Me and Waddy have a bond, man. It's he's the only guy that can tape me before games. He tapes my pads onto my arms, and we have this little ritual where we stand on the back of the net together, and I kind of give him a neck massage. So
True confession. I appreciate that.
I've been
Well,
missing
it's
him
got.
for a while, but he's finally back, so it's good to have him.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure you're excited for him to be back. Hopefully that'll coincide with the return of the Bandits mojo. So that's probably been the issue for sure. Um, okay, well let's transition to a couple on the floor questions. Obviously, you go against a ton of tough defenders. Who's a guy that's really had your number in the NLL? Just somebody that's really been beating you up over the years.
I'd probably say Kyle Rubish. I mean, he's not the most physical defenseman, but he's a very smart player and he's a very skilled player. So you always are cautious when he's on the floor. You want to keep the ball away from him, and when you try and beat him one on one, it's next to impossible. He's one of the best defenders in the league, and he's just like I say, just a very smart player.
Yeah, you know what? A guy on your team, Steve Priolo, I've been campaigning for him to be Defender of the Year, and then I read the other day that Rubish already at this point in the season has surpassed his caused turnover numbers from last year when he set the overall record, and I was just like, man, you can't. I mean, does this guy ever give up? So I definitely could see Rubish there for sure. What about the team that's given you the most fits so far? The team like that's had your number, whether it's been at Minnesota now with the Bandits, who's been a team that you've always just had some struggles against?
Believe it or not, the team that drafted me was San Jose. Uh, I don't know why. I don't play well against them. I had one good game against them, but other than that, I haven't had too much success against them guys.
So the stealth in general, just
Yeah,
just ringing it up on you.
where they're from. Yeah, whatever city they are.
Yeah, all of their various iterations, sure. Okay. Um, who's been the person that's had the most impact on your lacrosse career, whether it's a family member or a coach?
There's probably two people. Well, first and foremost, obviously my father. He took me to every single game, every single practice. He spent all the money for me to play not only lacrosse, but spent all the money for me to play hockey. So he's had the biggest impact on my career, and he's always been there for me, whether he's giving me constructive criticism or telling me I had a good game or anything like that. So I can't say thanks enough to my dad and even my mother as well, who's also been there. The second person I'm going to say is Corey Hallman. He was my junior A lacrosse coach for the Braves. He was a coach that he was a players first kind of guy, and if you had a problem, he was the guy that you could call no matter what time it was, no matter where you were. He'd always have an ear, or he'd meet up with you if you needed to. So he was just one of those guys that you could confide in, and you knew that had your no matter what.
That's awesome, man. I'm sure he's going to appreciate hearing that. That's great. Do you got any superstitions that the people need to know about? Any pregame rituals, other than what you just described with Waddy?
Yeah, too many to describe. Superstitions, man. I put everything on my right side first. So I'll put my right sock, then my left sock, right shoe, left shoe type thing. Like I said, Waddy's the only person that I let tape me. If he's not there, then it's one of the defensemen that lives here in Kitchener, probably Glenny. Um, Other things, not too much crazy like food or anything like that. Wise, I just like to keep it simple with the music. I like to listen to everything. Um, I like to have a coffee before the game. That's about it. Just a nice cup of Java.
Oh, okay. Any particular blend that the people need to know about? Maybe we can get the fans to send you something.
The best one would be the Tim Hortons, just regular cream and sugar. But when I was in Minnesota, it was just a nice little light roast from Dunbros, nice, nice coffee shop.
Nice.
Okay.
I like a man who likes his coffee. What's your favorite color?
I'd say green. Green would be my favorite color for sure.
Any reason for that?
Not really. No. When I was a kid, I painted my room green. That's about it.
Purely aesthetic. I will take it. What's the last book that you read?
Oh man.
It's a tougher question for some guys.
It's a very tough question. I actually, sitting in my drawer, I just don't remember the name of it. Can't remember, to be honest with you.
That's all right. Maybe they'll turn it into a movie.
Doubt it. I doubt.
Yeah, it's in his drawer.
Yeah, clearly not that interesting. That's all right. What other sports did you play growing up as a kid?
Everything. I played soccer for a year. I played hockey growing up. I played badminton in high school. I played squash, basketball, pretty much everything. Even I played a little bit of baseball, not too much. But yeah, sports was something that runs in my family. So no matter what kind of sport or what type of sport it was, I wouldn't hesitate getting into it.
Do you think is there any one sport that kind of stands out to you that may have helped you, aided you in your lacrosse development?
Probably hockey, I'd say. Hockey. Just the discipline factor in hockey. You have to really take care of yourself on and off the ice, and a certain position you play. I was a centerman, so it taught me that I had to play both ends of the floor or the ice, and if I wasn't doing that, I wouldn't play. So just yeah, I'd say hockey would be the one that contributed the most.
Nice. Now we're always getting requests to see the stick, and we will get to the game stick in a little bit. Keep the people waiting. But first, let's talk about the stick in the background. Tell us about what position you play when you play field lacrosse.
I play long pole. Yeah, it's sitting right back there. Yeah, I don't know why I like playing long pole. When I was out in Victoria a couple summers ago, I played in a tournament called SummerSlam. I played as a D guy, and then I played a few games to pick up field games in Minnesota last summer with my roommate Corbin. I try to play long pole whenever I can. It's nice because you get to give some slashes rather than take them. So.
So if you had to describe yourself as a field player in one word, what would it be?
Egg and spoon. I guess one word. Brutal.
Brutal. I love that. From a lefty sniper out on the floor to slashing people left and right, my man, taken after my heart. I appreciate that. So if you had to go back to the college game, where would you want to go?
Great question.
I'd probably go Syracuse if I was to go back the school route. I know when I was actually being recruited, I did get a recruitment letter from Syracuse. I chose to go to Bellarmine University, but opted out to come home and play hockey, and then obviously enter the draft. But if I could go back right now, I'd probably say Syracuse.
Nice.
Okay. Just a reminder to everyone, we're obviously having a great time asking Ryan all of our questions, but please keep using the hashtag NLL Live. You can get at us via the YouTube comments and also via the Lacrosse Network's Facebook page. We see a lot of questions and comments coming in. I promise you we're going to get to you guys in one quick sec. So let's just finish up this lightning round. Ryan, tell me the most memorable goal that you scored indoors and the most memorable goal that you might have scored outdoors, maybe with the long pole.
The most memorable goal indoor would probably be my first one against Rochester. I cut the middle. I got a pass and I kind of shot it on the run, just really quick, kind of threw it at the net, and then ended up just getting absolutely flattened by a guy that I actually played summer lacrosse with. But yeah, I mean that would probably be my most memorable goal, just because if you like, if there was ever a clip to see it, if you watch that clip, my feet, like I swear my feet go over the top of the crossbar. It's unbelievable. And then
You earned it.
yeah, field lacrosse long pole. I don't think I've ever scored one. I came real close, really close when I played in Victoria. I actually made it to the net and tried to switch hands, but got that the pole was 6 feet long and it stuck into the ground, and I just kind of ended up shoveling it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So there's room for growth yet. Okay. Well, that's what's. Sorry. Go ahead.
It was pretty bad. I mean, last year I used to bug Mitch Belisle and Greg Downing. I told them that I was going to work on my long pole skills so that I could enter the MLL draft and play D. So.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's just what Hamilton needs, is another offensive-oriented long pole. Yeah, I don't think they have anybody that plays that spot. Well, actually, no, they just lost him. So the Ginger Prince is now on Boston. So you got a chance to make an impact when they come back. Here's the last one before we talk about some of the games from last week and get to our viewer questions. It sounded like you had a pretty ambitious or a pretty serious welcome to the NLL moment getting laid out. But what about a memorable fight that you've been involved in? You ever been involved in any tussles?
Not in the NLL. I kind of was in like a little bit of a roughing match with Ryan Sharp. But back when I was playing junior, I did end up fighting Sean Evans, and Evans a pretty tough customer, and he was just as tough back then. From what I hear, it was a pretty good fight to watch. Obviously, I don't really remember. You just kind of black out when you're in a fight. You just, close your eyes and, well, not close your eyes. Just throw punches. Hope for the best.
You're in a glass cage of emotion. I understand. Excellent. Well, let's. Oh, nice. Well, I'm sure all that working out you've been doing, you'll be ready for the next fight that comes your way. Mr. Wilson, we had a really serious slate of action this past weekend. Can you run me through it? I mean, we had a couple games on Friday, a ton of action on Saturday. We had 2 games that were playing back-to-backs. What did you see, and what's going on out there?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if we're going to have time to run through all these games because there are a lot of them. Well, we'll try and do it relatively quick. Calgary put on a show. We could talk with Ryan more about this one. I mean, and I watched that second game, and I thought Buffalo had it like up until halfway through the fourth quarter. I was sure that the Bandits were going to win that game. So Calgary actually had a fantastic weekend, took down a tough and I think kind of surging Philly team. They were looking hot right there. So I think that those are 2 awesome wins. Rochester just barely beat Minnesota. I think they went up 1-0 in that game, and then were either tied or down for the entire rest of the game until they eventually went up 15-14 to win that one. Really showing some grit and determination. And then obviously those 2 teams played again the next night. Rochester came out a little bit hotter in that game. Angus Goodleaf got his first start for the Rochester Nighthawks. That was cool to see, and he played extremely well early on. Definitely helped them. And then the Rush, I mean, staying undefeated, 12-11. Oh my God, another just very close game for them. Came down to 1 goal at the end. But they're finding ways to get it done, and winning those close games makes a big difference. Then the final game of the weekend, we got Toronto putting on a little bit of a show, almost doubling up Vancouver 17-9 out in Langley. Rock looking good, but losing Garrett Billings to injury, that's going to hurt. So, like I said, a lot of stuff going down. I mean, any big games, any results stick out to you, Mark, as really important?
Yeah, I definitely want to touch on what you were just talking about, Garrett Billings going down, but I think we got to start talking first about the 2 teams that had the back-to-backs this weekend. Calgary, and coming east and winning 2 games, in pretty different fashion. I mean, they definitely took it to Philly and won by a good margin. Like you said, a Philly team that's been surging of late. So I thought that was a great win to get on Friday. And then I totally agree with you. And we'll talk to him about it in a hot second. But I saw Buffalo on the driver's seat from the beginning of that game. But it just shows you where Calgary's at. I mean, they've really shown up as a threat at this point. That can really challenge the Edmontons and the Rochesters of the league. For them to come back and win that game the way they did with the fourth quarter that they had, I think they really served notice to the rest of the league that they're going to be a threat. And Rochester, they battled a tough Minnesota team that was looking to play spoiler. For them to win that game on Friday. Like you alluded to, they were down a lot. What was interesting, I was reading today that Kurt Stiers, the amazing owner that he is, did something rare, seemingly in the NLL. Like he chartered a plane for his team to get back and forth from Minnesota. So we'll probably get a chance to talk to Ryan about travel arrangements and how I'm sure he'd like to get some of that in his life. But yeah, to me, unfortunately, the biggest news of the weekend is Garrett Billings going down. He was having a tremendous game in his hometown out there in Langley. I mean, that makes it even worse that he went down in front of his friends and family. I know he'd been out there before the game trying to promote the NLL in Vancouver and the Lower Mainland, and he was on pace for a record season. I mean, the guy did set a record, having I think it's 3 consecutive seasons with 80 points or whatever. But terrible to see him go down, and I don't know. I don't think the Rock can recover from that. I think that really opens up the door for Philadelphia. I mean, Garrett Billings really set the table for that team. I think he had seven assists or 7 points on the first 10 goals. I don't know how they're going to replace that. What do you think, man? I mean, looking at Toronto and Philly down the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're playing on April 12th, if Philly was looking for a reason to think that they can pull this win out, this is it. I mean, that's a huge loss. He's a very important piece. At the same time, I mean, Toronto might have to change up what their approach is a little bit. I mean, obviously they're going to have to, as kind of the main distributor and guy that the ball's going through a lot of the time isn't going to be out on the floor for them. But that being said, they have some players. They've got some guys, just a few, just a couple of them who are pretty darn talented. So, again, it's not a win for Philly by any stretch, but if you say, usually Garrett Billings is in the game, I'm going to pick Toronto as my favorite, especially playing at home. But with him out, I mean, Philly could take it. I think it is, like you said, anybody's game.
Yeah, and Toronto, it's unfortunate. They've really been suffering all season with injuries. Their back end has been decimated all year. They're starting to get some of those guys back a little bit, but I agree. I think this is a big one, and it also kind of ruins things for Team Canada a little bit this summer. Heading into the World Games, I would have penciled Billings in as an attackman for that team. So makes it a little bit of an easier run for the USA, but terrible to see Billings go down. But let's bring our guest in a little bit, Ryan. I hate to talk to you on such a down note. I mean, I've been riding the Bandits bandwagon all season, but you guys are on a recent schneid, and this weekend, ooh man, tell us what's going on and tell us about the game and what you guys are going to do to rebound and come back.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit too full of ourselves. We went on a nice little run, winning all those games in a row, and I thought I think maybe we thought we were better than we were, and obviously losing 4 straight proves that we're not, and it's one of those things where we got to look at ourselves, and I think we've been very undisciplined as a team lately, the last 4 games especially, whether it be taking dumb penalties or not getting off the floor fast enough on either side of the floor, just little things like that kill you. So
yeah,
if you're not getting off the floor fast enough, and I'm probably guilty of it more so than not, but when you don't get off the floor, it doesn't give your D a chance to get back and set up, and teams take advantage of that, and obviously we want our D on the floor as good as they are and as good as Cause has played for us this year. We just got to do a better job of doing those little things and sticking to the game plan that our coaches lay out for us.
Sure. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about what it's like to be in a game like that. Specifically against a team like Calgary that's really shown over recent years to be so explosive. I mean, we were just talking about the lead that you guys got out to, and you scored a great goal in the first quarter there. A nice little dip around move with a great shot. What's it like when a team's coming back on you, and you kind of sense them gaining on you? What do you do to stem that tide, especially you as an offensive player? How do you keep from kind of forcing it and just staying within the game?
You just got to kind of take everybody on the bench and tell them, listen, guys, like we can't be happy with the lead that we got. We need to keep going to the net. I don't think we did that. I'm pretty sure, as an offensive group, we thought we had a big enough lead that we were safe, and obviously Calgary came back and beat us. And when teams start coming back like that, then guys on offense, we start to grip the sticks a little tighter, and maybe force shots that we shouldn't be taking, and we could be down 2-3 goals, and in our mind, getting that one goal is going to tie the game, and it's up to us to sit back and relax, and just play the game that we were playing before we were losing. And unfortunately for us, we didn't do that, and like I said, we didn't stay disciplined enough, and Pooley got hot in the second half, and we didn't find a way to bury it on him.
Right. Well, let's talk about something a little more pleasant. Heading into next week, we got a great game, and I'm sure it matters to you personally. You guys are playing the Minnesota Swarm out in a place you used to call home, out of Minnesota at the Excel Center, and I know there's a lot on the line here because you guys have a chance to clinch a home playoff game with a win, or obviously if Toronto loses, but I'm sure you guys would like to right the ship and really get back on the winning side of things. How much are you looking forward to this weekend for many reasons?
I'm looking at it as it's another game. For me personally, it doesn't matter where we're going. I would rather just have the team, come out with a win. For me to go back to the Hive, it was a place I called home, and it was a great experience and a great, 4 years for me in Minnesota. But that time's over. So now it's my time, to be a Buffalo Bandit and help this team win and do whatever it takes to get that victory. But obviously, like you said, we want to right that ship. We want to get back to our winning ways, and a lot of people, might not know, but if we win 4 straight here, we could clinch first place in the East. So we just got, like I said, stay disciplined, keep to the game plan, and just play Bandit ball.
Yeah, no question, and that's obviously really possible considering that you guys won 4 in a row, won 5 in a row, and then lost 4 in a row. So you guys have been a mercurial team. It's definitely possible that you guys could go on a nice little run and win 4 in a row. And on that note, let's transition a little bit to our viewer questions. I just stole one from Lewis Ackerson. He was asking, how have you been enjoying your time as Bandits so far, and how can they turn things around? Well, we just talked about how we can turn things around, but Lewis is obviously asking about how you like being a Bandit. A bunch of people from Buffalo. I mean, you guys have the most fervent fan base. We got Haley checking in, wants to know about describing Bandit land. So talk about what it's like to be a Buffalo Bandit now, and what's been your favorite part about playing up there, and talk about the fans.
To be a Bandit is almost a dream come true. I grew up, I watched the Bandits, I watched the Rock, and all those teams that were close to home. So to be a part of a fan base that we have is pretty special, because they're so loyal, and they just want to see us succeed, that they come to the game and they bring the energy, and they give us what they should as fans. And I've been enjoying it. I mean, the first time running out on the floor as a Buffalo Bandit, I was really nervous. I thought I was going to throw up, actually. I was so nervous. I've never been that nervous before, not even for my first game ever in the NLL. So you just, as a player for the Bandits, you just don't want to let down our fans. They're so loyal, and they keep coming back year after year. and to be on the floor is an honor, and it's something that you, like I say, you don't want to let those fans down because you want them to keep coming back, and, game in and game out. So I'm really enjoying my time, and I've learned a lot, and I'm just gonna just keep going with it.
Sure. Interesting note. We got a lot of ladies checking in tonight. A lot of seemingly female Bandit fans. I don't think, Connor, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we've had too many women checking in on the show with questions, let alone fans like this. We see Selena Herkimer. We see you, Haley. We were just talking about. It seems like the ladies are getting out in force for the Bandits too. Do you guys notice their screams in particular?
Sometimes you can hear them. Yeah. Sometimes.
Okay. Jim Elsey had to ask him, right?
Yeah, you got to do it.
Jim Elsey's checking in at Jim Elsey 68. He says, "Hey Benny, still a big fan here. And he wants to know, apologies. He says, tell us what it was like to assist on John Tavares' historic 800th goal. Talk about playing with John and obviously helping him reach that milestone. That's got to be something special."
Yeah, I mean that's something unbelievable. Just to play with John Tavares alone is something so special. But I'm fortunate enough in the locker room that I get to sit beside JT. I get to talk to him a lot, and I've learned a lot of things, whether playing the game or how to hold yourself accountable outside the game. And JT is just a true professional. He comes to the game ready to go. He wants to win. He'll do anything to win. And to assist on that 800th goal was pretty special to me. I'm just glad that I could be a part of that, and I'm glad that I can call him a friend.
Nice. So we got an interesting question from Mike Kelly, which I want to hit on a little bit. But now that you're playing, you played in Minnesota, now you're playing Buffalo. What can box lacrosse do in the United States, I think, which is what Mike is asking, to become kind of as popular as field lacrosse? Do you have any ideas on that?
What can box lacrosse do to become popular as field? I'm not really sure. Minnesota does a great job with promoting their youth box lacrosse league.
Mm-hmm.
Last year they had over 1,000 kids sign up. So it takes as little as just that team from wherever it may be, Colorado, Buffalo, Minnesota. Just advertising out there through social media, through the city, and getting kids signed up, and growing the game and showing kids the proper way to play box lacrosse. So I think it's all it's all about how you go about advertising having a box lacrosse league in whatever city you may be.
Nice. So I mean, really, kind of that grassroots, getting out there and connecting with people.
Yeah, definitely. That's the one thing I enjoyed the most with my time with the Swarm. We did a lot of community things, and we got to interact with, like I said, thousands of kids that want to play box lacrosse.
Nice. Well, why don't we not put it off any further? Let's look at the magical wand that you use to score lacrosse goals. Let's show us your stick. Let's hear a little bit about it, the setup, what you got in there, all that kind of stuff. The people need to know.
Okay, so this is the stick that I have right here. This one is the Charge 2 University spec, I guess. Under Armour, obviously. So it's pretty simple setup. A couple shooters up top. I personally like to do the old little half moon. Not too big of a pocket. It's pretty shallow. I like the ball to come out a little bit high. I use obviously this is Mark mesh, 15 millimeter mesh. Some other guys, they like different mesh. They like, for example, a 20 millimeter mesh will give you more hold and more hook when you shoot. So it's pretty basic setup. Yeah, not too much crazy going on with this stick.
Nice. So what would you say in terms of like whip and hold? I mean, I think a lot of people assume, at least down here in the U.S., people are just assuming that you guys are playing with these really whippy sticks, and that's just from what I've seen is almost never the case unless you are a handcuffed defenseman. You know.
Yeah, it depends on how you shoot the ball, but for the most part, there's not a whole lot of whip to our sticks. Because with whip, you can be very inconsistent with it, and in box lacrosse, with the goalies having as much gear as they have, and having as little time and space as you do, you need to have a stick that shoots 100% every time, and with a little less whip, it allows you to be a little more accurate.
So I got to ask, I'm curious, does your stick setup change when you go out and slash people with the 6-footer?
Yeah, definitely. The head I had on before, my roommate Corbin strung up for me, and it must have had a pocket about like 6 inches deep. It was massive. If I even tried to throw the ball, I couldn't. So that was my hack and whack stick.
So you looked like you were going fishing.
Yeah, oh yeah, pretty much.
Good stuff.
Hey, question for you real quick about the stick, Ryan. Just checking it out. It looks like your shooting strings aren't necessarily like evenly distributed. It looks like if you could hold that back up again, it looks like you got 2 close together at the top, and then you got the one shooting string right on top of the U. What's up with that? How did you arrive at that configuration?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's one of those things where you mess around with your stick until it throws the way you want it to, and I just landed on this working, and I don't know if you can see it, but my shooting strings aren't very tight. If you see the U here, this bottom shooting string, that's not even attached, so it's almost there for looks. But it's just one of those things, like it's not like a hockey stick where you can pick it up off the shelf and play with it. You got to spend some time dinking around with string combinations and shooter setups till you get it right.
And do you string all your own sticks?
Yes, now I do, but up until last year I didn't. I had no clue how to do it. Shane Jackson showed me how to string stick last year because I'm pretty sure he was just sick of stringing the ones for me. So luckily it kind of stuck with me. So now, I do string my own sticks.
Is it something you think has kind of helped you form a better pocket and a better relationship with your stick at all?
Yeah, for sure. It's just one of those things where you kind of take pride in it. Before I used to have guys string my sticks from blue collar lacrosse. The Marksteinhouse guys they strung all my sticks before, and they did a great job. But once I moved to Minnesota, I didn't really have the luxury of going to them every day or whenever I needed to have a stick strung. So something that I definitely take pride in, knowing how to string my own stick now.
Nice. We got a great question from Megan is so cool. Another female viewer. I'm telling you, you are drawing them in.
Bring them out.
This is a great question, actually. Who would you say is the craziest guy on the Bandits? I love these kind of questions.
Oh, that's a no-brainer. It's Marksteinhouse.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that.
For some of the people who don't know him as well, I mean, I think everybody recognizes the hair, perhaps the facial hair, all that kind of stuff. But what is he like in the locker room?
He's just one of those guys that he just loves to have fun, no matter what. He's pretty good in the locker room before games. He's not really too goofy. But team dinners and team lunches, Mark's that guy that shoe checks people. So if you're sitting with your back to him, you gotta either keep your head on a swivel or hope you don't get a big stick of butter put on your shoes.
Wait, is that a thing? Is that like some Canadian thing that I don't know about? That sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to start doing that.
It's just it's a thing. I used to do it in Minnesota too. That you kind of find that guy that's not paying attention and has their back to you. So you crawl underneath the dinner table and with a big stick of butter on the end of a knife, you just kind of gently place it wherever you can on somebody's shoe. And then you come back to your seat and you tap your glass, and then everyone else will proceed to tap their glass, and you yell shoe check. So everybody kind of backs up from the table, looks down at the shoe, and then obviously some poor sucker is gonna get it, but it's
Oh man. You do that to my Air Jordans or my suede loafers, man, we're gonna have a different conversation. I'll tell you what, homie.
Last year I got Josh Gillum, and I didn't realize he was wearing a brand new pair of shoes, so I kind of stained his shoes with a stick of butter, and he ended up taking his shoe off at dinner and throwing it at me, so he wasn't too happy about it.
Oh man. Jeez, that's serious. Well, we actually got another great question from Megan. Megan is so cool. She's got a great question. She says, and I think Dane touched on this before. It seems like an inside joke going around the Bandits. She says, "What is #Sav?" And she wants to know, are you excited for the home finale?
Hashtag.
Look at him. Look how giddy he is, man.
You know what? If you don't know what a sav is, you don't want to know. No, it's a little word that we use here in Kitchener. Just the four of us: Glenn, Brian, Aaron Wilson, Dane, and myself. Team Sav, so Team Savages. We like to think of ourselves as savages on the floor. So
Nice.
Dane was nice enough to make us Team Sav shirts. And we came up with a little abbreviation for the word, and SAV could mean also swagger, attitude, victory. So
Oh, I like that.
that's what we go by when it comes game time, and then outside of the game, it's Team Savage.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we might have to co-op that down here. Got a bunch of other people checking in. Thomas Ray just had a question a second ago. He says, Benny, are you missing the Minnesota Trader Joe's while you're in Buffalo?
Yeah, I do miss Trader Joe's. They have really good food, but not the most reasonably priced food. So it's a love-hate,
Right.
Trader Joe's.
Trader Joe's is cheap in New York, man. That's the cheapest food I get around here. God, I don't know. You guys are living on Tim Hortons or something up there. Speaking of food, a lot of people seem to be checking in with this. We had Ali M Productions. He wants to know, what do you get on your Chipotle burrito? And then he follows that up with, if you could only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? Two interesting questions.
That's a good question, and it's probably the same. It's an answer that I'm going to answer right now. It would be a Chipotle burrito. If that was the for the rest of my life, it probably would be Chipotle. So I go with the bowl pretty much every time I go in there. I go with the bowl. I get rice, the veggies, no beans. I'm not a huge bean fan. Mild medium salsa, corn, a little bit of guac, cheese, lettuce. And then sometimes when I feel like treating myself, I'll grab a bag of chips, crunch them all up, throw them in there, shake it up, and then have almost like a taco salad. But
Okay.
and I get then steak both in there. So
I'm sorry, you get what in steak in there?
chicken and steak costs extra, but it's
man.
worth it.
Super protein load. I get it. Well, that's a great segue to our next question. A lot of people were asking about. It seems like you're known for working out, and in fact, doing some research today, I saw some information about. I'm not sure if you've done some personal training in the past, or you take on a pretty strenuous workout regime. Somebody was saying with rivalrous and all that working out, do you have big muscles?
Yeah, I mean, I have got into a lot better shape this year. Years past, I kind of took it for granted. I wasn't in tip-top shape, and I thought talent could override not being in shape, but it's not the case anymore. There's so limited jobs in the NLL now that a guy's going to have just as much talent as you, and if you're not in better shape than he is, he's going to take your job. So I was fortunate enough, to sign on with Team Rivalist. It's a supplement company. Um, they give me products, and actually the PLPA actually had just signed on board with it thanks to Dan Dawson. So, um, it's a great thing. They got great supplements, to help me boost my workout and obviously recover from that workout. So, it's just one of those things. Like I said, if you're not taking care of yourself off the floor, you're not going to be playing on the floor.
Well, I mean, speaking of taking care of yourself off the floor, you have probably the greatest example of that ever in John Tavares on the team now. I mean, are you taking any cues from that man in terms of staying healthy and trying to, play this game for 23 years or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking in as much as I can get from JT. If I can play that long, that'll be oh man, that'll be a miracle. I don't know how he's done it, but you know, JT takes care of himself probably better than anyone in the league, and obviously at age 45, he might have to, but you know, to be 45 years old and still be one of the top players in the NLL says, something that you're doing something right off the floor, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, talk about that a little bit and what your regimen is like. I'm sure you got to be doing something pretty specific, for box lacrosse. And I know you were just alluding to supplements. We were talking to guys recently that are expressing the importance of recovery and especially in the NLL where you got a quick turnaround or maybe you're on an airplane. Talk a little bit about what specific exercises you're doing to get yourself ready for the season, and then let us know a little bit about your recovery plans and how that factors into things.
So, like I said, Dean, myself, excuse me, Aaron Wilson, and Glenn Bryan, we all work out at a gym, personal training gym. It's called Limitless Performance. It's here in Kitchener. Got great trainers that have played sports, and actually the trainer that we work with a lot used to play a high level of hockey. So he knows exactly what we need during the week to be ready for the games. Mondays are squats. Tuesdays will be bench press. Wednesdays is deadlifts, and Thursdays is cleans. So it's we do those Olympic lifts that a lot of people probably are doing, and then mix in almost like a CrossFit type workout to bump the cardio, and then for recovery, obviously a good active stretch when you're done. You want to drink your protein or chocolate milk even right after you're done your workout, and even if you can get into an ice bath every once in a while, that helps you big time. A lot of guys in our league, when we have back-to-back games, a lot of guys go out and they buy compression pants, and it's kind of like tights for men. It keeps your muscles nice and compressed, and then so they don't swell up on the plane, and it allows you to recover a lot faster than normal. So those are just little things that that we do, and obviously guys at work, when they work their 9-to-5 jobs, and they're take care of themselves the same way. They're stretching and eating properly and doing whatever it takes to stay in the league.
Sure. Yeah, I can imagine. And normally I don't give too many shout outs, but shout out to Limitless Lacrosse. Or Limitless Training. I got the Dan Dawson workout plan today when I was doing my research. They sent that over to me, so I'll be following along with you guys, prepping for my summer season. That's for sure. And those tights you're talking about, we call those meggings here in New York. So don't yeah, be sure to rock those around. A couple more from the fans, real quick. Encore was checking in. They want to know what's the most interesting place where you've played lacrosse and one spot where you really want to go and play lacrosse.
Most interesting spot I've played, probably Denver.
Doesn't have to be box.
Probably.
Okay.
It's an incredible city. I love it there. There's so much going on in the downtown area that you can't be bored there. One place I would probably like to go, I'd probably say like Texas or something like that. I think that would be pretty fun to play out in Texas and just take in that kind of lifestyle, that kind of culture that they have down there. Almost, try and be a cowboy if I could.
Sure, sure. Well, that feeds into Mark Deschamp's question. He wants to know what's the best arena in the NLL. Would you say Denver for that?
Uh, Denver definitely does have a great arena. Obviously with that gigantic jumbotron now, it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Uh, obviously Buffalo too. We have a great arena, and with the fan base, it's hard to beat. Definitely hard to beat Buffalo.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And that's actually another amazing segue. Selena Herkimer just checked in. She's got another question. She wants to know, what is your favorite memory since you've been playing with the Bandits? Speaking of those fans.
Favorite memory so far? Probably be our Christmas party. We there was a bunch of us that handed out seasons tickets to fans, and I got to interact with a lot of fans. We got to enter their homes and see how they live and how passionate they are for Buffalo Bandit lacrosse. And I can't believe the things that people know about lacrosse players. It's pretty crazy. You walk in and they can tell you exactly how many points you put up or where you came from, and where you grew up, and it's a humbling experience for sure. But yeah, handing out those season tickets and then going into our Christmas party was pretty fun. Sean Williams made the rookies and new guys, so that was myself and Waddy included, sing a Christmas carol to the boys. So it was pretty fun. It was a fun night.
What did you guys choose?
What did we choose? I think it was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And believe it or not, I had to my phone because I didn't know nobody knew the lyrics.
Oh God. Oh man. Too busy playing hockey, I guess. Jeez.
Too many hits.
Connor, I think. Yeah, too many hits, right? We're gonna have to get invited to that one next year, Connor. I think so. Well, talking about Buffalo. Talk about what it's like to play for Troy Cordingley. Obviously, both of you arrived at the team together this year. Talk about what he brings. And for me, when you guys went on this recent Schneid, I was thinking, that Cordingley has obviously got to be all over you guys. And I thought that he was going to be great for the team. Talk about what he's been doing, what he's meant for the team, and kind of, his efforts to help right the ship right now.
Yeah, I mean, Troy's a tremendous coach. He knows the game inside out, and he does everything in his power to get us ready for games. We do great video sessions, and we send out chain emails to the team and stuff like that. And Troy's pregame speeches are pretty intense. They they get you fired up. He knows exactly what to say to get you amped up for the game. And believe it or not, a lot of guys think Troy's just a big jerk, and all he does is scream and yell and swear, but that's not the case. Troy's actually he's been pretty calm this year on the bench towards the team. He hasn't done anything that any other normal coach would do, and he's one of those guys that you respect, and you really want to play 100% every night, every shift for.
Right. And last question from me before we transition to a little bit of a preview for the games coming up. You were talking earlier about how you're not necessarily the fastest guy anymore. I mean, we were just talking about how you're progressively getting stronger and stronger, but you score a ton of goals. I mean, you're probably second or third all time in Kitchener history. I was talking earlier about how you've come off of 3 straight seasons with 30 or more goals. You're putting up tons of points this year. What's the secret to your scoring success? For me, watching you, I see a lot of you shooting around guys. Do you have any specific plans, when you're on offense? Any places on the floor that you like to get to? Talk about what's made you so effective and some things that the kids should be looking to do.
Well, first thing for a guy my size, I'm not the biggest guy on the floor, but I like to get to the middle of the floor a lot, and a lot of guys that might be my size might shy away and stay to the outside, but a lot of the good scoring chances and scoring opportunities are going to come from the middle of the floor. That's the prime scoring area. So that's the one thing for me, is just to make sure that that I don't get scared to get into that middle. And if I have to take a hit, I take a hit. But a lot of it also, has to do with the guys that I'm playing with. When I was in Minnesota, I had a guy, for example, Kevin Ross. The two of us worked well together. He knew, how to set a pick and get open, either for myself to shoot or for him to shoot. So a lot of success, well, pretty much all success comes from the guys that you play with. And if you play with the right guys, you're going to have good success. And chemistry comes in. It's based. It's one of those things where it might take a little bit of time to get some chemistry, but once you figure each other out, it's a pretty easy game to figure out what each other does on the floor.
Sure. Well, I hate to keep saying it, but man, you're really setting up these questions perfectly with these segues. We had Deluxe checking in. This will be the last one we get to tonight. Shout outs to everybody in a second. Deluxe has a great question. Speaking of the chemistry, which teammate do you think that you have the best chance of getting an assist off of? Or I guess, who on offense have you developed the best rapport with in the short time you've been on the Bandits?
That's a good question. I think, it doesn't matter who's got the ball or who I pass the ball to. I'm going to get that chance to get an assist. Obviously, I played with Aaron Wilson before in Minnesota, so just right off the bat, I would probably say that him and I probably have the most chemistry together, just having played together before. But our offense is so deep, it's so loaded with talent that no matter who's got the ball, we've always got a chance to score. So I'll probably have the best chance to score no matter who gets that ball.
That's a great diplomatic answer. Quick shout outs to all the fans. We got Alex Bolstad. We see you. Karem, we see you checking in. We got a bunch of other folks. I know we had Haley checking in before. Selena, thanks for getting your questions in. Ali M Productions, Thomas Ray, Mike Kelly, Anthony Garcia, Taylor John, Laura, Megan. Good looking out, guys. Really appreciate you guys getting at us tonight. And a reminder to everybody out there, don't forget to use the hashtag NLL Live. Jim Elsey, again, we see you. Good looking out, everybody. We'll be looking forward to seeing your questions as the season goes on. Mr. Wilson, a really ambitious slate of action coming up this weekend. We got a ton of teams in action, big playoff implications. Why don't you take me through what's happening tomorrow night on the 11th and then again Saturday on the 12th?
Yeah, tomorrow night we got our little rematch of the Rush in Colorado, going back at it. This time they're doing it at the Pepsi Center. So that was a 12-11 game last week. I mean, you got to pick the Rush in this one, I think, at this point. But, is this Colorado back-to-back games, week apart? Do they have what it takes to knock off the undefeated Rush, Mark?
I think they do. I do. I think they do. I really like what I saw to Colorado last week. I hate to pick against the undefeated team, but, I thought they should have won that team. I think Dylan Ward is really finding himself. So Iannucci playing better offense. I think Grant had a little bit of an off game. Yeah, man, I'm taking Colorado right here.
Wow, big pick. I'm going to go with the Rush just to be different.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, also because they haven't lost a game yet.
Also that.
Next up, April 12th, we got a big game, which we touched on earlier, Philadelphia at Toronto. I mean, Toronto is, I think, a game and a half or 2 games up, or one game. Actually, they're 1 game up in the standings. So this could really flip-flop the teams and really change things a little bit. Who do you got in this one? I mean, Billings out. Are you going Philly?
I'm going Philly, and I'll tell you why. I mean, they have more to play for. If Philly loses this game, they can be eliminated from playoff contention with a loss to Toronto, whereas Toronto, they would clinch a playoff berth, effectively, winning the season series against Philadelphia. So, I mean, even though I think the Wings have the most to play for, and like I said, having Billings out, obviously you alluded to it, the Rock have tons of great players in Colin Doyle, Josh Sanderson, among others. They got Brandon Miller playing great goal right now. I'm sure he's going to be motivated to see his former team, but I think the Wings just have too much to play for. What do you think about that, Mr. Benesch? What do you think about the bottom dwellers in the Eastern Conference?
I mean, they're only bottom dwellers just because of their record. Every team is so good in this league that nobody's out of it in any game. So Philadelphia definitely has a great team. Minnesota's got a great team, and we've got a lot of prep to do to prepare for Minnesota this weekend. We can't take them lightly, that's for sure.
Nice. Another April 12th game. We've got the Vancouver Stealth headed to the Rochester Nighthawks. The Nighthawks, interestingly enough, are 1-3 against teams from the West. Is Vancouver going to keep that going, and are they going to be 1-4, or are they going to double up their wins against Western opponents?
Well, this is interesting in that it's a rematch of the title game from last year. Yeah, but I don't think that we will see the same type of game that we saw last year. I don't think Vancouver is the same type of team. Obviously, I think they're all but eliminated from eliminated. Well, they're close, but they're pretty much limited. I think that Rochester's been playing great ball. Unless Vancouver pulls a rabbit out of the hat, I'm going Rochester Nighthawks, baby.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Rochester's going to take that one. Next up, though, we got our man. He's picking the Swarm. I know it. Probably not. We got the Bandits heading out to Minnesota. That's a big game. I'm really excited, because the Bandits, let's face it, they could make a little run here, and they certainly don't want to get caught from behind by dropping a bunch of games in a row. That's no way to end the season. Minnesota, though, they gave Rochester a serious run. Really in both games after their slow start in game 2 last week. So what do you think? Mark, are the Bandits going to pull it out? I'm taking Buffalo on this one.
Yeah, I got to go Buffalo. I've said it every week for the past couple of weeks. I refuse to believe that this team will continue on the losing streak that they've unfortunately been on. Extra motivation, obviously, for our guest, and that he's playing against his former team. They had a really close game last time. Buffalo lost in overtime. Ryan had a great shot. That Carlson just got his pad on. Buffalo, they've clinched a playoff spot, but they guarantee themselves a home playoff game if they win this weekend. Even though they're going to be playing out in Minnesota, I like Buffalo in this game as well. Ryan, any keys to the game? Anything important that the people need to know?
Just basically what I said before, and that's sticking to the game plan and playing discipline. Minnesota's obviously a young, fast team, and we got to limit their transition opportunities. That's always been the MO. At least for the 4 years I was there, we were a run and gun type team. So we just got to make sure that we stay disciplined and get off that floor on and off as fast as possible.
Sure.
And then our last game of the weekend, we've got Edmonton and Calgary. Now, most people are probably looking at this and saying, yeah, Edmonton's 14-0, Calgary is 10-5, whatever, right? But to me, there's something a little more interesting here, and that's that Edmonton is obviously 7-0 in division, 7-0 out of division, but Calgary is 4-4 out of division, and that means they're 6-1 in division. So if they win this game, they go 7-1. Edmonton would then also be 7-1 in the West. I just think that would be interesting if you kind of throw divisional stuff out of there. So maybe these teams aren't quite as far apart as we seem to think. I'm still taking Edmonton in this game just because I picked against them earlier and it made me look stupid. Mark, are you a braver man than I again?
Yeah, you better believe it, man. We're going to be in the dome. In the dome, you know this. At the Social Bank Dome. I got to say, man, I got Edmonton losing 2 right now. Neither of these teams necessarily have anything to play for, and that they've both basically locked up their own situations. Edmonton will be home through the playoffs. They've had a record-setting season. Calgary's, they've clinched the home playoff game. So both of their seeds are locked up. But, man, Calgary, the role that they've been on, Dane Dobie, we were talking about Ryan and how much of a goal scorer he is. Dane Dobie is lighting the lamp. It's going to be interesting to see Calgary's potent transition-oriented offense going up against a really legendary defense in Edmonton. But I don't know, just for fun, just for giggles, I'm going with Calgary, baby. Edmonton's dropping 2 this weekend.
Man, that's some crazy talk, but I like it. That's what we're here for. Ryan, I'm actually interested to get your take on this. If you were on a hypothetical 14-0 team, how are you addressing those last games? You've clinched first place, you've clinched home, you've set records, you've done everything. how do you motivate yourselves for those last 2 games? I mean, is there any concern of coming out flat?
Well, obviously there probably would be a concern of coming out flat, but if I was on that team, if I was on a 14-0 team, it would just be sticking to what has made us successful throughout the whole year, and not straying away from the plan. And Edmonton so far, they've done a great job. They've stuck to what is successful for them, and obviously 14-0. You can't do better than that, and that's a hats off to them and to the coaching staff.
Sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, and it's just interesting to look at that too, because a lot of people, I think, from the outside looking in, are thinking, man, they gotta take a game off, or they gotta, if something's gonna come up for them. Yeah, I mean that's what Marcus said.
That's what I'm thinking.
And honestly, that's what I was saying earlier in the season, and I just haven't seen it from him yet. So I would actually be a little bit shocked if Edmonton doesn't find a way to sneak out these games. I know that's crazy.
No, they're playing fantastic. Playing fantastic, man. You can't ask for anything more than that. Yeah, we did just hear your dog snoring. Don't worry about it, Ryan.
Grab him here. Hold on.
Yeah, let's get him some FaceTime.
Hey, get him some FaceTime. Oh, look at that guy. Oh yeah, I can see the snores coming out of that little beast. Look at him.
French bulldog. He's got a little snout, so he likes to hack up a little bit here and there.
And what's his name?
This is Spike.
Spike. Okay.
You didn't go something in French.
One of 2 French bulldogs. So the other one's downstairs.
Does he have a Team Sav collar on right now? Is he a team member? Is he ready to play?
He'll get one. He'll get a big Sav collar soon. That's for sure.
Nice.
Nice. Gotta keep him locked up.
Savage is on the prowl, baby. Nice. Well, that'll do it for us this week. Mr. Wilson, you got any shout-outs, any tidbits for the kids, the viewers out there? Anything people need to marinate on?
Yeah, stop stringing your sticks with all this whip. Look at Benesch. He's got a universal stick. He's playing offense in box cross professionally, and he's not playing with whip on his stick. So get that out of your game, kids.
Yeah, for sure. That's actually 2 weeks in a row. I think Mark Matthews was playing with a universal stick and not a lot of whip either. So yeah, stop with that whip. Fakes are overrated. And Ryan, any shout outs, any people you need to say hello to other than the Bandit fans out there? Any final thoughts from you?
Well, just thank you to everyone that tuned in, and to the Bandit fans that are watching. Thank you, and I can't wait for our last game in Banditland. And like I said, thank you for an incredible season so far.
That's right, the home stretch. So that'll do it for us on week 16 of NLL Live. Keep up with us with the action. Obviously, tune into the Lacrosse Network. Great action down the stretch. That'll do it, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Gives it to Keogh. He shoots and scores. Stephen Keogh, right where he left off yesterday. It's 1-0.
Grant Trundle in, ball trick right in front to Jones. He stopped right on the doorstep, and it stays out. It's Corbeil and Rubish. Now they turn it over, scores. Kyle Rubish had his pass intercepted, and goal.